Hey guys, what's going on? It's your girl Queen G. Welcome to another edition of Queen G Live Experience. We have had so many amazing, great guests on here. You have no idea. And I'm just really grateful that all of you are watching and tuning in, and I feel your amazing energy. And also, how about that Tyrese interview? How about that one? That was great, right? That was great. That was great. I'm still tripping out a little bit about him having a full hour with me, and then he tried to get on his Instagram with it, and it just did not connect. So I knew that he was really enjoying his moment, and having a good time with that interview. So, thank you guys so much for your amazing support. I think that video is over two point something K. I can't. I'm losing count. You know what I'm saying? I'm losing count. But yeah, I want to thank all of uh, I'm at a loss for words this morning. I want to thank Lester, who has been linking me with so many amazing people. He's an actor out of Atlanta, and just really, really brilliant. He is brilliant, because the thing is, it's one thing to just do what you do, but to be a connector, I call him the connector. Whoa. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of people that he knows and has been sending in my direction. So I'm just excited. So we have a special guest in queue. She's beautiful, amazing. Wait till you just get a whiff of her. I can't wait. Powerful lady, actress, doing her thing. So we're going to talk to her about her journey. Let's welcome Kendra to the show. Hold on a second, you guys. Hi.
Hey. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning to you. How are you feeling this morning?
I feel amazing. I'm always thankful that God just continues to bless me with another day. So I'm happy. I'm super happy, and I'm excited to be on the show today. So thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Definitely. And you're so right to be blessed with another day, another opportunity to go forward and to be able to speak and have the activity of our limbs. It's just it's wonderful, and we have to really, especially times like these, have to be understanding about the fact that we made it today, because everybody ain't making it. And that's it's just really tragic times, and it's a lot going on in our world. So we are blessed. We are blessed. And I'm glad you started like that, taking accountability for waking up this morning and being grateful for that, because that really is a big deal right now.
Absolutely. Yes. Always got to give God the glory. Like, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for him.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and all that good stuff.
So once again, my name is Kendra Luster, actress. I'm originally a native from Nashville, Tennessee, and I now currently reside in Atlanta. I've actually been here it'll be about 2 years, like the end of January. I actually moved out here to pursue my career in acting. And really, I've been acting since like 2010. My mentors kind of got me into modeling back in like 2005. And then once 2010 hit, that's when they kind of pushed me to start getting into acting. And really, it was to help my modeling. I didn't really understand it at first, but my mentor said, we'll go ahead and pay for your classes. I said, oh, okay, I'll go ahead and take the class then. And
right?
What's that?
I said, right?
Yes. I was like, I will definitely take the class. You're gonna pay for it. Appreciate it. Okay. But no, honestly, I took 2 classes, and that was my first time ever getting into acting. And I just fell in love with it. The teachers asked me, have you ever done acting before? And I'm like, no. And they're like, you're really, really good. And I thought, you know what? I think I found my niche. I think I found a second talent that I have, because I didn't even think that I was good enough to model. I never would have thought in a million years I'd ever be acting. But I feel like God has opened so many doors for me, and definitely has blessed me to actually, get pushed to being here in Atlanta. I kept putting it off for so many years, saying I'm going to move to Atlanta, and then procrastinating the next year. I'm going to move to Atlanta. And so finally, one of my friends and I, we just moved out here together and just, made the whole thing work. So yes, it's still a journey. I'm still learning
Definitely.
every day, making new connections, meeting you, through Lester. So Lester, I appreciate you. If you're on here, if you can hear me, thank you. God bless you. And thank
Lester
you.
is amazing. Let me tell you, that guy knows so many people. It's like, and with him and I are on the MJ Own network together. We're on that Roku channel together, and I'm like, I never knew that this amazing angel was in my back corner like that, and that he would just be the key to so many things. You know what I mean? And he does it so naturally that he doesn't even realize how amazing he is. He's just natural with it. You know what I mean? His personality and all of that. So I placed him on the cover of my new magazine, and the little thing that I put in parentheses is the connector. That's his nickname for me. That's my nickname for him. So he knows it. He's like, man. So what a great cover too. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's the picture where he's like high in the air and he has his hands and feet up. That picture is so dope. Like, you know what I mean? So
I saw it. He showed it to me, and I just thought, wow, like this is actually a great cover. That's why I was like, wait a minute, give me a minute to look at some stuff to see what I can pull up so I can be in the magazine.
Right. And also you're gonna be featuring in this magazine too, this upcoming magazine. Your ad is already dropped in. I'm just excited, it's just so many beautiful surprises in our lives that we just don't expect, and this definitely was one of them. I'm grateful to have come across all of you guys in this path this way, and that we're just, hey, we're flowing with one another, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So how has it been for you in Atlanta? Like, since you moved, what has the scene been like out there in Atlanta?
Well, I know in the very beginning, a lot of people have warned me about the traffic. So traffic has definitely been crazy, like from jump. But it's ever since the pandemic hit, it kind of slowed down because of the curfew and them trying to get it under control. So whenever I would leave the house, I'm like, oh my gosh, what? There's no traffic. Like, this is awesome. For God forbid the circumstances. But, aside from all of that, in regards to acting related, I feel like I've been getting a lot more opportunities here in regards to finding work, and also meeting a lot of other actors, making the network, happen, and connections. And don't get me wrong, I was getting some work in Nashville, but just not as much. Out there, it was more so like country music videos. And don't get me wrong, I'm a country girl. Let me tell you, I don't think I told you my little intro. I was born and raised on a farm. So I am a farm girl, very country. My dad had 4 girls, so he didn't have any boys. He tried for boys, but it didn't happen. So he had to put me and my sisters to work. So I was driving tractors. Yes, tractors at the age of probably 7.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? So getting to, experience the country life and then also the city life, just being out here and growing and even being on my own. I'm so family oriented. I'm always used to just being around my family all the time. And I'm blessed that they're only like about 3.5 hours from here, driving wise. But yes, I just see that there's a lot of opportunities out here. And I feel like I've been getting booked for so many different roles, so many different projects, like left and right out here. Like it's amazing. It's so awesome. And so I'm definitely appreciative. And I'm just thankful of the fact that God had allowed me to even make the move out here, because honestly, I had my moments where I cried and I would cry and cry and cry. I was feeling depressed. I wanted to go back home. I wanted to go live with my dad. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do it. But I hung in there. I kept praying. I kept asking my friends to pray for me. There were a few other people who made the move out here as well around the same time. And so I'm trying to keep them lifted, and working together, doing auditions together. And eventually it finally just all started to fall into place. So I love it out here.
Right. Like, how do you go from your gut? You know how you go, you're in your gut and you like, listen, it's something I feel about this move. Like, and I know it's the right move for me. But going from your gut to your heart to actual action, what is that like? That whole transaction? Because it starts somewhere. You know what I mean?
Right. You are absolutely right. So initially I was trying to move out here probably like 2016-ish, give or take. That was the thought process. So that was like stage one. And then over the course of time, like I said, I kept saying, okay, eventually I'm going to make the move. Eventually I'm going to move out here and do it. And so a couple of years went by and it just did not happen. And in 2018, I used to work at Verizon Wireless, the call center, and I was there for like 4 years, and my department got laid off. So then they gave us options. Don't get me wrong, I love Verizon to this day. I still have their service. They had offered a severance package. Now, this is my first time ever being laid off. I've never been laid off before. And I took the severance package and I thought to myself, you know what? Let me see what I can do with this in regards to my acne. So I started saving up a little bit more, and I ended up getting into a new relationship. And he was telling me that he was trying to make the move out here to Atlanta. So he kind of put that fire up underneath me. He was like, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And we ended up getting together and, being boyfriend and girlfriend. And he let me know from jump, I'm going to make the move with or without you, just so you know. And I'm like,
right. Hey, that's an ultimatum, right? That's a real ultimatum.
You're not going to leave me. So really, because of him, and to this day, we're actually still friends. We're not together anymore, but we're still friends and we still help each other with acting, because he's an amazing actor. Let me tell you, like, he is one of my role models and he's taught me so much. So really, I have him to thank. And I thank him like every once in a while. I appreciate you for helping me to make this move out here. It was a struggle at first because we would come down here, and I've got my cousin, her and her husband and their little girl stay literally like 7 minutes away from me out here. I'm in Stone Mountain right now. And him and I would go there and stay at my cousin's house, and we would go looking for like apartments. And then we would go back to Nashville. And we just kept doing it a couple of times until finally we just thought, okay, let me see if we could just stay with my cousin for a little bit. So we stayed with her for like almost a year, maybe about like 9 to 10 months. And then, like I said, eventually we broke up during the mix of us staying there with them. And I didn't want them to click out. Right. It was it was kind of a struggle. He thought as soon as we moved here, that things were just going to start popping off. And it would cause arguments and, disagreements. And he was feeling depressed. I'm feeling depressed. So I just talked to my family, and I was like, hey, please don't put him out. He doesn't really have anywhere to go. Eventually we're going to get an apartment. I'm going to get an apartment. He could stay with me for a little bit till he gets on his feet. And that's exactly what happened. I kept looking. He kept looking. I found my apartment some months later, and he stayed with me for a little while till he could get on his feet. And now we're both making moves. So, there's always that process. And I'm thankful that I even had my family here for me to stay with them. Because honestly, I don't even know if I would have had that kind of money to stay in a hotel somewhere, trying to make it work. Like, I'm so grateful that it's crazy, well, not crazy, but it's just a blessing how God just continues to put all of these, people in your life to make it work. Whatever your dream is, whatever your passion is, when you start putting all of this in a thought process and you put it out there into the universe, God will definitely put like some stepping stones to make these things happen for you. So it was a process, but hey, I'm here. Everybody's got a story,
You're here, right? What was one of your most challenging roles to date that you were given as an actress that just really took you to another level? Because I was placed in a project in Las Vegas, and I was a mother of a church, and that character, I had to cry, I had to break down, I had to really go into another phase. Because these are roles, right? So they take you to another level sometime, and
Right.
it makes you tap in emotionally to places that are vulnerable. So
Yes.
what so far as an actress has been one of your most challenging roles so far?
Excellent question. And honestly, this happened not long ago, maybe September. She was one of my best friends. She passed away at the age of 30, and bless her heart, she had a heart attack.
Ooh.
And I was devastated. I didn't mention this either in my intro. So at the age of 15, my mom had passed away. And this was actually on Christmas Eve, 2002. She was only 38. She had a brain aneurysm. And it just came out of nowhere. She's always been very healthy. And one day she just went to the hospital, told them what was going on, and that was it. She went she went into a coma, and then she went brain dead, and they had to, pull the machines off of her. So yes, most cases, whenever I have to cry in any scene, I go back to that. That was a very rough moment in my life, growing up as a young lady without her mom being there. Because my parents, they were always married up until that point. But after my friend had passed, I felt like that hit close to home. And I had a role where it was a short film, and it's called The Book, and it's a suspense genre. And there was a part where I was looking outside, like through the blinds, and my husband had just done something completely horrible to my aunt. And I see that he's he's digging a hole, like, to try to bury her. And I'm looking out through the window, and I'm thinking of my friend. Like, literally, I just went to her funeral the week before we shot this. And they even told me, like, Kendra, we understand if you can't do this, if you can't be here. And I said, no, I want to do it. I can do it. And I looked, and I just started crying because, I thought of my friend, her being buried, this whole pandemic. And, she was only 30 years old, and she had a heart attack. And I just thought, like, the last time I talked to her was like the month before. And I couldn't believe it. So once I started crying, and I ran away from, like, to exit. And that was part of it. I was getting into character. But when I came out like off of the scene, I could not stop crying. Like I was screaming and I'm sorry, I'm getting chills just thinking of
No, no,
this.
that's
And
completely okay. I almost feel like that was your opportunity to even really address it. Like what's amazing and powerful about acting, it's not acting. You know what
right.
I'm saying? It's kind of like you submerge yourself all the way into that character, into that role.
Yes.
And the way that you reacted and handled that reminds me that maybe you didn't even address your real emotion after she really passed. You know what I mean? And this was the
Mhm.
time for it to come out. It just
Right.
happened to be on the set and it just happened to be at that moment,
Right.
because whoa, like you can't control that. You know what I mean? And that's
Yes.
real.
Right.
That's
You're absolutely
real.
right. And even afterwards, because everybody already knew, they had seen where I posted it on my social media, just asking for prayers for her family, friends, and they gave me a moment. And the director, he came back and he sat with me and he was like, Kendra, I can understand if you want to, go ahead and go home after this. Because we had like two more scenes we had to shoot and we had been
Right.
shooting all day and it was like late in the evening. And I told him the same thing, like, no, I can do it. I want to stay. I want to, go ahead and push through it. And I told them if they need me to do it again, I'll do it again. And that's exactly what I just envisioned, which just seeing him, dig in that grave and just thinking about my friend and then thinking about my mom. Like, I feel like those are always just the most challenging moments when something like that actually really happens to you because you can see those things really happening and it brings back memories. And that's when, it starts triggering everything. But I would
I
have to say that was
understand.
not.
I was when I was in the middle of my scene, I was actually homeless at that time. I
Oh,
was
wow.
homeless for real, like in real life. And it was a scene where we had to usher a young girl to be saved, be saved. And
Mhm.
we were some of the mothers were singing Amazing Grace. And as they were going up, Amazing Grace, how sweet. And it was just the emotion, you know what I mean? That was
Right.
coming out from just the stress that I was dealing with in my real personal life. And it wasn't acting. It was like
Right.
this right here,
It's
you
real.
know, I'm really feeling this. Like it was the tears just would not stop. And we all literally had to pull ourselves together after that scene. It was like three of us, three
Oh,
mothers.
oh
And
my God.
they were singing and we had our hands up praising God. And it
Oh
was like,
my
it was so deep and so intense. That's why I asked you that.
God.
Because some of these roles that we get, they're challenging and you really don't know really how to address it sometime. And then you try to figure out an angle, to best do the character, do the role. But,
Right.
the fact that I was homeless just really, that by
Mhm.
itself, you
Yes.
understand, put me where I needed to be emotionally to be able to tap in. And it was just, everybody was messed up. Like the whole set was crying
Oh,
after that.
mercy.
Yeah, it was deep. So I understand what you're saying. And I wow, what a tragedy. That's so young. You know what I'm saying? That's wow. I know you were devastated both times.
I
Um,
was.
from those
Mhm.
times in your life. So
I'm glad you made it from your, circumstances. Things
yeah.
obviously had changed for you. So I'm glad that you're no longer homeless. Bless your heart. And I can only imagine doing that scene and the song that was being sung and, people praising God. Oh
Oh
my gosh,
yeah.
I would have
We were
lost
messed
it.
up. We were messed up. Um,
Yeah.
and what's so interesting is I came to every rehearsal and I never told the director that I was homeless until it was time to like shoot the film. And it was only due to the fact that we would have had to go to different locations that I even divulged it, because I didn't want any different treatment. I didn't want any to be, put on a pedestal or any of that, because of my situation. And when I told her, she was like, "You could have told me that a long time ago." I was like, "Okay." You know what I mean? She was so amazing, and made sure that after that I got to like my rehearsals and stuff like that, and helped me to coordinate rides, and it was powerful. But I didn't want no different treatment. I wanted to be treated as like someone that worked hard for this character, this role, and that really put the energy that I needed into it, into that. Mm-hmm. And it was something else. It was just a crazy time in my life. And you feel so helpless. Right. You feel so helpless, like you can't do anything. And I'm a mother. Like I had to go back and tell my children, like, I don't know what we're gonna do or where we're gonna go. And that was it was a really trying time in my life. So thank God for acting. Thank God for the arts.
Yes.
Because Amen. Had I not had the arts to submerge myself into, I would have been sitting there depressed, thinking about the moment that I was in and not having a distraction, like that. You know what I'm saying? So I credit the arts all the time. It's so genius. Like the arts are amazing. And thank God that we have that to go to, in time. So yeah.
I agree. Acting, it's not as easy as people think it is. Like you got to try to, pull all these different emotions out. You have to, really dig deep into who the character is. You got to write out, the who, what, when, why, objectives, like everything. It's so much to it. And I'm like you, I credit, a lot of these actors who are out there and, really, really getting in deep into their characters, because it shows, it really shows.
Look at the Viola Davises and can you imagine? They read deep and they go hard, like, and we're talking about the personal challenges we've had, but they've been through some challenges, evidently. Loretta Devine, all these legendary like actors, that their personal journey has not been easy because they go so deep, and they are so amazing at what they do. And what, I know, like, definitely have suffered something, because you get on there and kill it. You know what I'm saying? Kill it. Like,
right. So, and I would say, everybody definitely has a story. I feel like, a lot of us, we've been through something, and the fact that we're able to bring that into our work, it says something.
Exactly. How do you prepare for a role?
Most cases, I typically read the script a good couple of times before I start writing anything down and before I start memorizing any of my lines, just so that way I get a good understanding of what's going on, what we're talking about, what's taking place. And then that's when I start taking notes. I write down the background of the backstory, of what's going on in my own words, just so, again, I could still fully grasp and understand what's happening. I write out my who, my what, when, why, my objective. And then some cases I even write, like if I read one line and how I interpret it and how I might say it differently, sometimes I'll even write that out just so it kind of stands out to me, and I'll typically remember still the flow of the conversation. And also with helping for my lines and memorization, I have to be doing something. Like I could be washing the dishes and going over the whole conversation in my head and talking out loud. Luckily I live here by myself. That way people don't think I'm crazy. But you know what? Even sometimes I would go for a walk and I would just listen to what I have recorded, because sometimes I'll record the script as well. And I'll say my lines like I'm having a conversation, but I try to make it seem like I'm on the phone with somebody. Right. I don't want people thinking I'm otherwise. But hilarious. You know, it's all in good fun, though. I always enjoy every bit of it. And then sometimes I'll have, one of my friends come over, we'll go over the lines together. So, it's a lot of little things that, I help to make sure I can get into character.
Because I know everybody has like their own method, memorization and all that stuff. I had a hard time memorizing my lines. But my kids were helpful with that. Like they would come in and they would help me do my lines to like rhythms and beats. Okay. You know what I mean? Certain sounds or something. I was like, okay.
Like you said, everyone has, their own methods that help. Mm-hmm.
Right. And going over the lines in rhythms and beats really helped, because it was like, okay, this is cool. You know what I mean? I guess I'm a musical person, because it just is like, before that, I was having a tough time.
I get it. Trust me, I've been there, and I've had a few casting directors speak on saying that it helps, to do something, to be doing something while you're saying your lines. Because I've even have it happen, while I was in class. I had a teacher who made everybody go up. It was, their monologues that they've been working on, and he made them do something. And I was struggling. And so ever since then, it just embedded in me like, okay, let me, make making dinner, or even while I'm in the shower or doing laundry, something, so that way I can just kind of get through the flow of the conversation. And that's why I said it helps me to read the script multiple times, so that way I know what I'm talking about, and not just memorizing it from jump. But like you said, there's so many methods out there, that can be very helpful.
What tips would you give a person that is inquiring about becoming an actor? What tips would you give them?
Definitely. Well, for first and foremost, always put God first. Because of him, he's the only reason why any of us are here. Any of us can even, say that we had a journey. And stay focused. Don't let people stray you away from your dreams, whatever your accomplishments may be. Because I've had people say, oh, what is your plan B if acting doesn't work? Try not to let those people really get to you, because that can be discouraging. And then also, I like to mention this, like for beginners, it's okay to get started in background, meaning like being an extra, behind, not necessarily behind the scenes, but like an extra on certain projects. And even you can do short films, student films, and it's okay sometimes also if it's free. You're not necessarily going to always get paid for everything if you're just now starting out. And again, that's okay. But that way you can build up your resume. That way you can start maybe even thinking if this is something that you really want to do. Because once you're on set, it kind of opens up your eyes to see like, okay, this is real. Like, we have to do this take multiple times. Okay, now we got to move over here. We got to stand outside in the heat, or we got to, be in a freezing cold room. So it's a lot to take in. And I feel like being an extra, sometimes that definitely opens up any beginner's eyes to really understand if this may be something that they want to do. But, again, you're your own critic when it comes to also seeing how your work is really pushed out there. Like if you feel like you may have slipped up on something, don't be so hard on yourself. You know, we always make mistakes. You know, we can always grow from our mistakes, and you just try to take it in and take one day at a time, take one step at a time. And that's why there are classes out there. That's why there's seminars out there. And I mean, in some cases they're free, but again, sometimes I want to say the more advanced you become, that's when you start to invest in yourself. You want to invest in getting headshots. I've got my camera equipment here, tripod, a backdrop, my lighting, networking with people. Networking is always important. I'm always such a very quiet. Yes. I'm so quiet, and I'm usually like to myself. I was always a very shy person. So when it came to networking, I would always just kind of be like, in this little corner, like, but I feel like networking, it opens so many doors. Like you meet so many people, you get to work on so many projects. People reach out and be like, I've seen your work. I think I want to, have you read this script with me. I want to see how you sound. I think I may put you in this play, this musical, a commercial. So making the connections are definitely important. But I feel like I could go on and on and on about so many different things. There's a lot.
So many. Yeah. It's a lot of talent out here. Like I've been watching Tubi a lot. TUBI, that network or whatever. I'm like, okay, they got some raw like talent and people I've never seen before on there. And just, I always expand my horizon on, what I watch and checking out new people and stuff like that. Cause it's listen, we are in an industry that we may do different things, but we're in the industry, and you got to meet people and you got to get to know others. And that's very, very important. When you said that, I was like, for real. Yeah. Networking is very, very important. Very top of the list. And look, if Lester wouldn't have connected us, we wouldn't have met. You know what I'm saying? So that's just to give you an example of how important it is. And I'm always open to meet new people and work with new people. And, it's when you're doing like network marketing, it's very, very important. I have a magazine. I got all these things, you know what I mean? Right. Like there's no way my magazine will work without people. I need people. Yes. It's so serious. It's so serious. Tell us where we can find you on social media.
You can find me on Facebook, just by my first and last name, Kendra Luster. You can also find me on Instagram. My Instagram name is I am Kendra Luster. You can also find me on Twitter, which is Kendra Luster as well. I also have Snapchat, Kendra Luster 76. And I also have TikTok, which is I am Kendra Luster. I'm trying to get the names all to be the same, so I'm working on that. But I got some platforms out there, so trying to, put myself out there.
Definitely. Thank you so much for blessing us with your story and all the things that you said on here today. Your presence. And I know that somebody watching will learn something from your journey, how you've handled, stress and pressure, and just, blessings to you too, and the loss of your friend as, you go on days from here. It's not easy, to move forward and I just lost someone too. And I'm like, wow, I don't even want to go to the funeral because I don't want to remember them in death. I want to remember them alive and how they contributed to my life. 30 something years I've known this person. And yeah, it's going to be, I don't know if I'm ready to even go to the funeral, you know what I mean? But it's like, you got to be there in support of the family, and you got to show your presence because of how close you are. So yeah, this upcoming week I have to go to a funeral, unfortunately, and I'm just like,
Oh,
it's
I'm
just
so sorry.
rough. It's rough, just
Yes.
rough, just rough. Tough times. So yeah. But blessings to you, and thank you so much for being on this show today.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and I'm gonna send it to you right after this because it goes straight to YouTube. So we're already on YouTube.
Well, good times. And my condolences to you, Shantae. I definitely will keep you in my prayers and the family as well. And safe
Thank you
travels,
so much.
get to make it out there to the funeral. But I greatly appreciate you for having me today. It was such a pleasure meeting you. You are such an amazing person.
Yes.
I love your energy. I love your personality.
Ah,
Like, you are just fabulous. So thank you so much.
same
I'm so
here.
grateful.
You're amazing. Thank you so much for blessing us. You're gorgeous. I've enjoyed you this during this interview. So, and let's keep in touch, okay? We have each other on social media now, so yeah, we'll definitely keep in touch. And I'll let you guys know when the magazine is released. It should be any day now, actually. We are narrowing down the last few profiles and bios, and we're doing all the corrections now, and it should be out any day now. So I'm excited about that.
Well, sounds good. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a fabulous day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all take
Thank
care
you,
and stay safe.
Kendra. Bye bye. Have a good one.
Bye. You too.
Bye. Wasn't she amazing? I love when we have guests like her that are just, her energy is dope, amazing. Just, she's an angel. I will say thank you guys so much for watching this segment with myself and Kendra Lester, actress from Atlanta, Georgia. And you just never know who's going to be on here. So keep tuning in, keep liking, posting, sharing. And thank you guys so much for your support of the Queen G Live experience. Without any further ado, I'm out of here, y'all. I'll see y'all next time, okay? Have a good day. Bye bye.